Hello, hello. So some people are commenting on my Glaive montages that they wanted to see a build video. So here it is. If you haven't seen any of those montages before, I recommend watching one to get an idea of what this build aims to do. But just as a quick overview, we've got a Glaive and we've got a lot of movement. Uh, this is allows you to do things other builds just cannot. It's very unexpected for your opponents. It's very fun to play. Skill ceiling feels very high in this build. Never felt anything like it with all my other builds I've tried. And additionally, I've been working on this, like exclusively playing this build for hours. It's been a couple months now, I think, of exclusively just playing this. And I still have not mastered it. Not even close. Anyways, on to the actual build. Kinetic weapon, pick whatever you want. If whatever you want happens to be a stasis weapon, you will be benefited a little bit by the Bakris buff. It will increase their damage, but mostly you'll just be able to run harmonic mods, which maybe you can slot a few more mods than I have. You have to run stasis because Bakris only works if you run the stasis super. Anyway, Gambler's Dodge, it's good. Short cooldown, gives you back smoke when you dodge near someone, which you will more than in other builds. You want to Bakris near people. That's half the point of this build. You've got Blink. It's a good movement ability, and additionally, it pairs so well with Grapple. It opens up a lot. Without Blink, this build is not possible. Without Grapple, this build is not possible. Once I considered running triple jump, and no, it's required. Run Blink. Anyway, aspects: Threaded Spectre and Winter Shroud. Threaded Spectre is just going to be spawning a bomb on people, essentially, the way this build's going to be using it. Winter Shroud is going to make your follow-up glaive shot easier to hit. And here's what I mean by that. This is the main combo of this build. If you shoot someone, you would shoot and then turn around and shoot them again. So you try to dodge off screen, off their screen, and then shoot them. That's the combo. It's that simple. This follow-up shot, though, is not easy to hit. Glaive shots are already hard to hit on moving targets, just people in general, but having to flick to the side to look at them, uh, a lot of people will instinctively jump, making it very difficult, especially hunters. You'll be unsure if they're going to jump again or fall or pause before jumping, and you need to predict their movement with the glaive if you want to land the hit. And it could be impossible. It could be a guessing game if they do that. But Winter Shroud will stop that. Shuts that down, makes the shot way easier to hit. Next, machine gun, run your favorite heavy. Doesn't matter much. For fragments, none of them matter. Just pick things that give you stats, except for Faceted Blessing. Melee final blows start health regeneration. I'm sure you can see why this is good. Running a glaive, normal melees, which you won't get much of. There is one way you will be getting normal melee kills. It's a tech you can do with Bakris. I'll explain it nearer to the end of the video. Also grapple melee. If this happens to kill, then you'll get health regen from that as well. But it's mostly just glaive melee. Quick overview of the mods. Targeting mods, you could run a targeting one for the glaive. The aim assist doesn't matter much, but what does matter is increased ADS speed. That's going to let you put up the shield faster, because putting up the shield is just ADSing. Arc Dexterity, Kinetic Loader, run mods for your primary, and Arc Dexterity, or whatever you need depending on the glaive. I'll explain what glaive you should use in a second. That's going to help you pull out the glaive faster after grapple. And I think it might actually help you pull it out after a dodge. Not sure about the second one though. Loosen Blades, run unflinching if you're not running Edge of Concurrence. I'll explain when you run what in a second, but just know Loosen Blades is good for Edge of Concurrence. I'll go back to that. Weapon searches. So what you're going to do is decide what primary you want first. Then go into Destiny Foundry, put in your weapon, and check if weapon searches affect the TTK. If it affects it at all, run it. Make sure you leave at least one space for recuperation. This is a key mod You need this. This is required. If you don't know what it does, it gives you a small bump of health when you pick up an orb of power. Um, Bomber, grenade cooldown, reduced grenade cooldown, great. Time dilation is going to improve your weapon surges. If weapon surges don't affect the TDK of your weapon, you can run something else here. Reaper, super important. Shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. You saw the main combo. You can see why that's going to spawn an orb almost all the time. Unless you didn't use your dodge, you're getting that orb of power. Additionally, it says any weapon final blow, glaive melee counts. For once, glaive melee actually counts as a weapon final blow. So that will give you your orb, and since it was a melee, it will spawn that orb directly on top of you. Combine that with the Facet of Blessing, you're going to be getting a lot of healing. Okay, next up. Next up? No, that's all for the base build. Okay, so it's time for me. No, almost forgot to go back to it. What glaive should you run? Run a rapid fire for one. It needs to be a rapid fire glaive. Adaptives are kind of stuck in the middle of shooting fast and getting the shoot plus one glaive melee combo the aggressives have. The rapid fires have the quickest fire rate, 80 rounds per minute, and the alternate is aggressive glaives with 45 rounds per minute. It shoots way slower, but the advantage if you do choose to run them is shoot melee will kill. I don't like it for this build because if you shoot and dodge beside someone, there will be a delay before you can shoot again if you run the aggressive. With rapid fire, it's instant. You can shoot them immediately, and that matters a lot. You can argue that, well, just dodge beside them and use the melee if you're using an aggressive. This isn't great either. I like staying out of melee and shotgun range when dodging beside people, if possible. Uh, Melees will lock onto you so well, and just stay out of melee range if you can. Same with shotguns, you'll just get one shot. Oh, I should mention this build is better against conditional finality, glaive counter, because you're not going to really be sitting here if you shield too much. You're going to be dodging beside them, so you're either getting hit by it or dodging it fully, and it's going to be the same for all shotguns. Conditional's not going to be a super big threat, unlike it normally is. And now, forthcoming deviants, a legendary counterpart here. It's a rapid fire. Oh, Edge of Concurrence perk first. The whole reason for running it. You can do this. You get an explosion and a homing projectile, but that takes full glaive shield to use. Projectile does 400 or 500 damage, I'm not sure. One shots all supers in the game. The projectile, the homing projectile, I guess that's more of a wave on the floor, also one shots. Something to note is that wave that shoots out, although it does have tracking, you're going to want to shoot in front of an opponent or at their toes, so the wave shoots out towards them and the tracking can do its thing. If you're on flat ground and you miss them, it can go really far, fully miss, too far for the tracking to hit. And even if it hits right behind them, the wave still spawns in going forward, which will be away from them, and it has to make a U-turn to track back on, which will oftentimes cause it to miss. If you shoot right in front of them, it's not going to miss. And people aren't going to make an active attempt to dodge it either. It's very unexpected. Most people doesn't know this exists, much less that you have the perk and you're going to one-shot them. So yes, you get free kills. Especially good with this build because you can get a 1-2 combo on someone. And this is where the Loosened Blades comes in, the extra energy gained. After those 2 hits, you'll have a little more than the energy I'd say I have right now on my glaive. You can see it slowly charging. But a little more than this is just enough for it to be reasonable for you to camp for a little bit. It's like right here is how much energy I would probably have, maybe a little less. But I would camp. It is worth waiting this 15 seconds or so to get a one shot. It is a free kill, so use it. When not in combat, here's a little advice. When walking towards the fight, when healing, just have your glaive out. Don't have your primary out, just hold the glaive. Little bit of glaive energy, it might help. Okay, so forthcoming deviants, back to this. You sacrifice the one shot for amazing stats, collective purpose, amazing origin trait, boost range and handling. The handling boost is the main part that matters because you're not going to really be shooting people too far. You get 20 ranged handling per person, up to 40. Desperate measures. Weapon final blows grant bonus melee damage for an improved duration. And melee and grenade final blows will get that larger damage bonus. Melee applies for glaive melee and the grapple melee, so that's nice. I'll explain why this particular damage boost, it's 10% and 20%, why that matters. Impulse amplifier, massively increased projectile velocity. For some people, this is a must on a glaive. They feel like it's necessary to consistently hit shots. I'm fine without it, but I do prefer having it when I can, so it's nice to have it when I'm using this glaive. Quick axis sling, improves ready stow speed. And what else do you get? You get shaders. Nice. Also, impulse amplifier further buffs the reload speed, so this glaive is very snappy. You don't need to run. Honestly, you don't even need to run handling mods. Its handling's high enough. You don't need to run reload mods. It's perfect by itself. So, when would you use forthcoming deviants and when would you use edge of concurrence? First off, prefer like whatever you prefer, but so if you really prefer having one over the other, then go for it. But if there is a lot of special ammo going around, edge of concurrence. More ammo equals more opportunity to charge the perk, therefore it is worth it. In a more limited ammo economy, forthcoming deviants, because you you may as well just get the bonus stats. You're almost never activating the perk in my experience when very limited on ammo and trying to conserve ammo. It's harder to focus on charging shields when there's not enough ammo to go around. So just pick what gives you the best stats at that point. And I'll explain desperate measures, why that matters. 20% damage boost after getting a melee kill is enough to shoot melee and get a kill. Very nice. The 10% damage buff if you get a projectile kill does not allow for that, but it does allow for if you did, it seems specific, but this happens a lot. If you grapple, melee, you shot to kill them. Hold on, since I had the charged one, it shot slow. Let me, bam, bam, you've shot them, 10% damage boost. That grapple ball that spawns after that, pick that up, throw it, and shoot immediately after. You can shoot after throwing a grapple ball instantly. It's super quick, way faster than you would expect. It barely looks like you've even drawn the weapon. And that grapple ball plus a shot will kill any resilience with the 10% damage buff. Without it, it's inconsistent. With the damage buff, it's killing all the time. And that has been very useful for me. So that's desperate measures. Now for some techs. That's what glaive you should run. Oh, and remember, if you run forthcoming, run unflinching mods, even run an unflinching for the glaive, you get a lot of flinch on glaives, especially when shielding. It's actually a little excessive, I think. But anyway, the main thing, grapple blink. You can blink, wow, and grapple. There's a lot you can do with that. If there's an enemy, oh, this is more common knowledge that you can do this, but if there's an enemy right there, blink past and grapple. Unexpected. Now here's the actual tech. This. Saw what happened? I blinked during the startup of the grappler animation, making it look like I started. I just instantly go at full speed. And if there's an enemy there, I can do things like this. Around that corner, I can do things like this. Very nice. Sorry for the cut there. The deafening sound of a lawnmower right outside my room has interrupted my recording. Anyway, back to it. Uh, yes, grapple. Like this. The tech. Very useful. This is key in my build. If you've seen any of my glaive montages, you will know I do this all the time. Almost every time I grapple in those videos, you'll see me doing this. It gets you to the target so much faster. Normally, you have to wait a little bit before you start going at full speed. With this, it's instant. Um, if teammates are distracting and they're not fully focused on you, you can reach them so quickly and land a melee. Incredible. Additional thing, this isn't a tech, but it's something to note to make your grapple blink feel consistent. You may notice sometimes when you try to do this, where did my blink go? You'll notice you didn't go anywhere, and that will get you killed a lot. So what's happening is if you try to blink near the end of your grapple, it will cancel. It will fully cancel, and that sucks. So you can either blink earlier, earlier than that, or just let go and blink. So you may think, why not always let go and blink? It seems that would just make it fully consistent. Yes, it will. Unfortunately, there are weird advantages that might not even be intentional for just holding down grapple. You can see if I let go and blink, yeah, I couldn't even do it there, so that would be a disadvantage. There's a delay after using blink to grapple. There is a noticeable delay. It's short but noticeable, and sometimes, like the first time, I'll hit the ground and won't be able to grapple. But if you hold grapple, it's instant. I don't know why. I think the grapple movement might be canceling the end of the blink animation, but you will be able to grapple instantly. You won't have to worry about hitting the floor. Um, I just grappled on the floor there, but you won't have to worry. It's much faster, but you do have to worry about your blink getting canceled. So be aware when you need to use each. Use it as necessary. That's the last grapple tech. Time for Bakris Techs. Um, first, first off, if you need to preserve ammo, that's pretty much the only reason you would use this. But if you want to preserve ammo for some reason, uh, you can do this. Now, what was that? That is a kill combo. You shoot, you Bakris dodge, mid Bakris, before you come out of Bakris, you swap to your primary weapon, and when exiting Bakris, you will be able to do a unpowered melee, just a melee, and that will kill as long as you hit the initial shot. So, bam, and that saves you an ammo. The downside is, of course, you need to be in melee range. If you're using Edge of Concurrence, you won't get any Glaive energy, or you won't get the second half, but you save an ammo, and sometimes this is useful. Oh, and you don't get an Orb of Power because it was not a weapon kill, which is unfortunate. But other than that, a lot of disadvantages, but sometimes it is worth it. Another note, you need to kind of be prepared to do this before you do it. You need to tell yourself, I'm going to shoot and do this tech. Because you need to be prepared to place yourself very perfectly with your Bakris dodge. You need to be right next to them to do this. So, be aware. And that might be it. Holy, I reached the end of the video while speaking. I I haven't done this before. I recorded this like 5 times, and this is the first time my software didn't fail me. I think everything's still recording. My storage isn't full. Anyway, back to it. What was I gonna say? Right. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe. I will be posting more montages eventually. Taking a break from Destiny right now. It's a little boring. Um, but Well, thanks for watching the video. If I get enough view time, I can start making money, like $20 a video if I'm lucky. So that would be pretty cool. Yep. All right. Technically a voice reveal for anyone only watching my Destiny content. So hello. If you'd like me to maybe make more content where I speak, maybe a game that was kind of close and I felt like I played well, just kind of do a voiceover, talk about what I did. That's about all I can think of. If you might want that whenever I come back to Destiny, say so in the comments. It'll also let me be happy with you because I know you watched the full video. Um, yeah, and that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you try using this video. I hope you try using this build. Bye bye.